I'm Christina Gill-Martin, Communications Director for the City of Yonkers. On behalf of Mayor Spano, welcome to the 2015 State of the City Address. I ask you to please take your seats as we welcome our city, state dignitaries joining us this evening. Representing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, Tom Scaglione. Representing U.S. Congressman Elliot Engel, Cynthia Miller. Representing New York State Assemblywoman, the Honorable Shelley Mayer, Robert Voorhees. Representing Westchester County Legislator Bernice Breckman, David Tubiolo. And joining us this evening, Yonkers City Court Judge, the Honorable Marianne Scataratico-Neighbor. Yonkers City Court Chief Judge, the Honorable Michael Martinelli. Yonkers City Court Judge, the Honorable Thomas Daly. Yonkers City Court Judge, the Honorable Arthur Duran. New York State Supreme Court Judge, the Honorable Charles Wood. Appellate Division Justice, the Honorable Thomas Dickerson. And from our Yonkers City Council member representing the 1st Council District, the Honorable Christopher Johnson. Yonkers City Council member representing the 2nd Council District, the Honorable Corazon Pineda. Yonkers City Council member representing the 5th Council District, the Honorable Mike Breen. Yonkers City Council Majority Leader representing the 6th Council District, the Honorable John Larkin. Yonkers City Council President, the Honorable Liam McLaughlin. And ladies and gentlemen, for the purpose of presenting his annual State of the City address, please welcome the 42nd Mayor of the City of Yonkers, Mayor Mike Spano. To begin our evening, I'd like to introduce again Yonkers' own Pearls Hawthorne School Concert Band and Choir, led by Mark Bukowski and Craig Neal, who will lead us in our national anthem.
Please rise for the performance of our national anthem.
last 3 years, Yonkers has seen great change. Mayor Spano has taken the charge of moving our city forward. From reigniting life into stalled development projects, to protecting taxpayer dollars, to ensuring we sustain our environment and natural resources, to reimagining our Yonkers schools. Mayor Spano's administration has revived a sense of pride across the city, the type of pride that transcends generations, ethnic and economic backgrounds. Working together with the City Council, we have transformed Yonkers into the place to live, work, and play. Yonkers is reemerging, it's revitalizing, it's moving forward. Take a look and see how far we've come.
Three years ago, cities across the nation were in crisis. Jobs were lost, families were hurting. Too many people struggled to make ends meet. Our problems outnumbered our solutions. City finances were a mess. Development stood still. Unemployment reached 9.1%. We set out to rebuild Yonkers, and together we've turned adversity into opportunity. Our leaders rolled up their sleeves and went to work, putting politics aside to do what's right for the people. Now, our efforts are paying dividends. Today, unemployment is at its lowest point in 78 months. New businesses are opening up. Pre-K is being restored in our schools. Crime is down. Bond ratings are up. And Yonkers is a more affordable place to live.
I chose Yonkers because it looked like hometown USA.
I've never been to Yonkers before filming here. And so I get to see a lot of Yonkers and a lot of it has everything, like anything you would want to see visually.
There's a lot of businesses coming to Yonkers. Yonkers is happening.
We're really pleased and proud that this new facility is here in Yonkers. We plan to bring our children, introduce friends. It's all right here in Yonkers.
I hope you feel it. I hope you're proud of them. The state of our city is strong. Our future is bright, and our best days stand before us.
We've come a long way in just 3 years, but there's still work to be done. Let's get it done, and let's do it together.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 42nd Mayor of the City of Yonkers, Mayor Mike Spano.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please. Staff did a great job on that video, really. Let's give them a round of applause. Good evening, Mr. Council President and members of the City Council, City Court judges, members of the Board of Education, state and county representatives, and fellow Yonkers residents. I also want to make sure that I interject my mom and dad that are here today with me, Len Spano, my brothers and sisters, the ones who chose to come, my mother and father-in-law that are here today, Rose and Mr. Calvi, and Gennaro Calvi, and of course, my wife, Mary, who's with me this evening. So thank you all for being here. I also want to thank News 12, Files 1, and welcome the viewers watching live from home this evening on City Hall TV and YonkersNY.gov. Let's give Pearls Hawthorne, the concert band, and the choir another round of applause. They did a great job. Tonight, we're going to consider the state of our city, which is really an exercise in answering some very basic questions. What have we accomplished since we last gathered here? What are our plans for the future? Did our city get safer? Are we bringing more jobs so that people can make a living? Did our schools continue to improve? Is government running smarter and more effectively so that we can keep taxes down? Are we protecting seniors? Are we building more housing, especially affordable housing for the average working person? These are the questions that matter most, and these are the things that we will talk about this evening. Let's start with safety. Yonkers has long had a reputation as a safe city, one of the safest cities of its size in the entire nation, and it's even becoming safer. Crime has dropped 30% the past 3 years, and the trend continues this year as crime is down 13% from last year. We ended the year with crime down in every major category in all 4 precincts, and the homicide rate is the lowest it's been in recorded history. Our police department is continually improving how they use their resources and updating their training. People often talk about how they remember when police officers walked the beat rather than drive around in cars. Guess what? We found that sometimes it still makes sense to walk the beat. It's the police version of boots on the ground, and this year, I will propose in the budget that I will propose to the City Council that we put 8 officers in walking posts in the city of Yonkers. We will also equip all officers with tasers. Deadly force is something no police officer ever wants to use. It's always a last resort. Tasers, equipped with cameras and audio, will improve the ability of our police to protect their own lives and the lives of the public. We have also increased our efforts to promote communication between the police department and the community. Respect and understanding mean better policing and a better community. We recently began the Stop and Shake, a grassroots plan to emphasize a positive relationship between the police and the entire community, especially young men. A handshake or a fist bump, right, we all know that, takes but a second, but speaks volumes in demonstrating unity and respect. And this great idea came from Yonkers' very own Hector Santiago, who is here with us tonight. Hector. We thank Hector and our police leadership for recognizing Stop and Shake's value and adopting it. Working with Police Commissioner Gardner, we reinstated the Yonkers Police Explorer program. It provides a forum for young people with an interest in law enforcement. The Explorers have helped with crowd control and volunteered at the Yonkers YMCA with the PBA Christmas Toy Drive and feeding the homeless on Thanksgiving Day. Please join me tonight in welcoming these hard-working and inspiring young adults who are with us tonight. Public safety also means getting the best possible response from our first responders. Fire departments are rated by the insurance industry as to how effective they are. This year, our classification went from a 3, which is to a 1, which is the highest you can get. That means that no other fire department in the nation is rated higher than ours in its ability to protect your property and your lives. Our fire department is among the first in the nation to use the new Lucas mechanical CPR device. We now have 15 of them, and they have dramatically improved results in cases of cardiac arrest. Together with the outstanding paramedics of Empress Ambulance, who continue to win awards of their own, we provide a level of emergency medical response that is first class. Please join me in thanking all of our first responders, the Yonkers Fire Department, please stand up, the Yonkers Police Department, and Empress Ambulance. Thank you. There was a time when Yonkers, like many cities, was a center of manufacturing. The modern elevator was invented and made right here. More carpets were woven in Yonkers than anywhere else in the world, and Yonkers made and sold hundreds of products that were used around the nation. Now, we must attract a different kind of business. Our competition is not only from countries where labor is cheaper, but from other states who want to take our business by offering them subsidies to move. That's tough competition, but one we cannot afford to lose. It comes down to a simple equation. More business equals more jobs. More jobs equals a growing tax base that funds our schools and essential city services. We have a three-part strategy to bring business to Yonkers, and it is working. First, we are getting our message out to investors that Yonkers is a place to be through our Generation Yonkers campaign. Second, our planning and economic development staff provides personalized service to every investor who wants to open or expand a business in Yonkers. We walk you through the process. We don't want you to jump through hoops. Third, our industrial development agency provides targeted tax incentives in cases where we think that you can make a difference in bringing a project to Yonkers or losing it someplace else. Our strategy is paying off, and this is shaping up to be another outstanding year for business in Yonkers. Last week, a developer called National Resources unveiled an exciting plan to construct 100 micro-apartments in downtown Yonkers. Called Uno at iPark, this $15 million project will convert one of the former Otis elevator buildings into a loft-style apartment. In announcing the plan, the developer cited our city's extreme proximity to New York City, a vibrant downtown, and a spectacular building that has great bones. Our Generation Yonkers campaign has positioned Yonkers as the metro area's next great place for people to live, work, and play. In the past year, we've initiated more than 34 million impressions in print, online, TV, and in the radio, and more than 20,000 potential investors visited GenerationYonkers.com. And we have thousands of Facebook and Twitter followers. The new businesses coming to Yonkers are a diverse bunch. There is the hotel industry. We've had 3 national chains, Hilton, the Marriott, and the Hyatt, all began projects in Yonkers this year. We are developing a new reputation as a center of the business and travel industry. Cintas and FedEx have announced plans for major regional service facilities in Yonkers, one in the South Westchester Executive Park and the other on Tuckahoe Road. These projects will mean hundreds of white and blue-collar jobs coming to our city. Meanwhile, we attract a growing number of specialty jobs, those businesses that may not be so big, but which add their own special luster to our growing economic base. They say we don't make things in America anymore. Well, that's not true. Come to Yonkers and we'll show you. If you watch the ball drop over Times Square on New Year's Eve, then you've seen the work of Hudson Scenic Studio on Fernbrook Street. They are expanding their business of providing scenery and sets for shows on Broadway and around the world. Check out Leonardo on Knoll Street. They make luxury linen sheets. There is Into Green on Hawthorne Avenue, who make recycled yarn products that you will find in gift shops around the nation. A women's clothing boutique chose Yonkers to expand its national company and to set up shop at 65 Main Street, bringing 20 new jobs to downtown Yonkers. And of course, Yonkers Brewery, which has revived the tradition of brewing beer right in our downtown. Of course, not like the Prohibition era, when Dutch Schultz produced this alcoholic beverages in Larkin Plaza. This time it's legal. So, tomorrow we will announce that in June we are breaking ground on the Boyce Thompson development on North Broadway. The Boyce Thompson property. This property has been vacant and deteriorating since the 70s. Now it will be developed by the Simone organization as medical offices and retail. It's a case study in adaptive reuse, and it shows that with the right developer, we can preserve an old building and make it viable in the new economy. Simone is responsible for the Hutchinson Center. You've seen that big mall on the side of Hutchinson River Parkway in the Bronx. It's one of New York City's biggest developments. So we are extremely pleased that Joe Simone and his team are bringing their talents and their investment dollars to Yonkers. Luxury housing such as the River Tides project on Warburton Avenue are moving forward, but we also know housing must be available for people of all economic levels. Working with the Municipal Housing Authority, the federal and state governments, and the private sector, we continue to build additional affordable housing. Several months ago, construction of Grant Park Phase 2 and now 56 new units of affordable housing are rising on the site of the old Mulford Gardens. And working with the State Department of Housing and Community Renewal, we helped facilitate the renovation of 160 Warburton Avenue. In the past year, the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency assisted 13 new projects worth $157 million and added 500 full-time jobs, 950 construction jobs. The projects range from the new hotels I mentioned before to a moving company that purchased a building in Yonkers so it could expand its business, to the investors who purchased the old Polish Community Center and gave it new life as the Castle Royale Catering Hall. Because of our success, we can now increasingly target our tax incentives. There's no need to offer a property tax break to a developer who's going to build in a prime location anyway. We want to help out. We don't want to sell out. In the past, the city has often provided 20 and 30-year property tax abatements. Now we have cut that to 10 or less in most cases. And the yearly value of abatements is even smaller. The film and television industry continues to film major productions in Yonkers, including the recent Academy Award winner, Sil Alice. It stars Julianne Moore and was co-produced by Declan Baldwin, who moved his company, Big Indie Productions, to 55 Main Street this year. And since our new film office has begun its aggressive approach to producers just 3 years ago, we've seen a 61% increase in film days. Besides the more than $250,000 in new revenue to the city, we increasingly see our streets, our parks, our buildings show up on the big and small screens. And the Yonkers, and I think that's a great credit to them. Congratulations. The Yonkers Film Festival continues to grow in stature, and we want to thank its founder, Dave Steck, for his vision in bringing this event to our city. Well, we're not about to change our name to Hollywood on the Hudson, but we can clearly put movies high up in the list of things that we make right here in Yonkers. With all this new business coming to Yonkers, we are also seeing a reduction in the city's rate of unemployment. It's down from 9.1% just 3 years ago to 6.2% today. That's nearly a full percentage point lower than our sister city down to the south of us in New York City, And you know what? It is the lowest of any one of the big 5 cities in New York State. We have big plans in the coming year for downtown Yonkers. The daylighting of the Sumo River will continue as phases 2 and 3 of this trailblazing urban park and waterway project proceed. Daylighting phase 2, besides exposing another section of the Sumo River, will also create a 20,000 square foot public courtyard at Mill Street. Phase 3 will extend the daylighting past Getty Square and into New Main Street near City Hall, where we create a new park at the edge of Chicken Island. During the past 3 years, there has been an explosion of arts activity in the city, and it continues. There are now almost 40 sculptures or art installations in the waterfront and downtown, and we want to thank the Blue Door Gallery, the Yonkers Arts, the Hudson River Museum, and community engagement through the arts, all who have been supportive of bringing the arts to downtown Yonkers. And I also want you to save a date. Save May 1st for the second annual Arts Weekend, a citywide celebration of Yonkers drawing hundreds of regional and international artists, thousands of visitors, and the participation of Sarah Lawrence, FIT, and SUNY Purchase. Over in the Nepehan Valley, the owners of the former Alexander Smith Carpet Mills are planning to transform over 1 million square feet of gritty industrial buildings into a dynamic art district. And the word is spreading that Yonkers is open to the arts. The message brought by Daniel Wolf and Maya Lin, they brought them here so that our former city jail will soon be a major gallery. It brought David Hammonds, the man Art News referred as our man in Yonkers, and obviously Robert Zekanich, who loves his new home so much that he's even making a tourism t-shirt for us. And we've just started. Stay tuned for another exciting announcement on yet another world-renowned artist who will be purchasing a historic Yonkers building. I even hear that the DBW commissioner, Tom Meyer, is now dabbling in the arts and looking forward to a warmer climate. You know, I'm just kidding, right, Tom? All right. So, as Yonkers succeed, we must be sure that everyone has the opportunity to share in the success, including our many minority and women-owned businesses. They are often newer and smaller than more established businesses, and sometimes have less access to credit and investors. That doesn't mean they can't do as good of a job. All they need is to be given a chance. And that's why we continue to improve our efforts to implement my Executive Order number 5, which establishes minority and women-owned business goals when awarding city contracts and buying goods and services. Our efforts are paying off, and since I signed that executive order, we've issued 30 contracts totaling more than $13 million, and that's real progress in giving everyone a chance to do business in Yonkers. Let's talk about running a smarter and more efficient government. Almost every dollar we spend comes from you, the taxpayer. Since being elected mayor, each of our budgets have stayed within the state property tax cap. We intend to continue that tradition, and when I submit the proposed budget to the City Council in just a few weeks, I will again propose staying within that property tax cap for the 4th consecutive year. We must treat those dollars as if they're coming from our own pockets and get full value for every penny. Let's start with water meters. Bill Reisman here. I told myself when I became mayor that if I only do one thing, it will be to fix the water meters. They were so out of date that the city was not even bothering to read them. We relied on estimated bills, which were rarely accurate and often resulted in unfair surprises to the homeowners. Out of the 30,000 water meters in Yonkers, 22,000 have already been replaced. Now we read those meters electronically, and when you get a bill, you can be sure it is accurate. Another advantage of the water meter project is water conservation. One of the things we discovered, for example, was how much water the Domino's Sugar Factory in Southwest Yonkers was using. They were using 9% of all the water in the city, used for a year. We knew they could cut down, and they did. Their new water management system saved 13 million gallons of water last year, and they expect to save another 26 million gallons this year. So that is some sweet savings. But kidding aside, Domino's Sugar is a great Yonkers company, and they've been here with us through thick and thin, and we're so proud they continue to call Yonkers home. But it's not just Domino's Sugar saving water. Now that people accurately pay for the water they use, they now have an incentive not to waste it. So with the estimated bills, you didn't get any financial benefit for using less. Now you do. As a result, Yonkers is collectively using, get this, 1 billion gallons less water on an annual basis. That's right. We've completely overhauled the way City Hall manages its monies, installing proper controls, cutting back on waste, and implementing a cohesive financial plan. That plan has paid off. Last year, we sold the first A-rated Yonkers bonds in 30 years. Just 3 years ago, our bond rating was one step above junk status. Not only has our A rating saved us about $2 million in the cost of issuing bonds, but it's an indication that the city faces a better financial future. If you visit City Hall, you notice something is missing from the parking garage. That's the payment booth. The parking authority used to spend about $250,000 in salaries and fringe benefits to staff that booth. Now we have machines that will pay for themselves in less than a year. And the machines also take credit cards, making the garage even more convenient to the taxpayers. As we continue to foreclose on properties whose owners stop paying taxes. For years, these zombie properties sat vacant, eyesores that hurt our city's economy and made our neighborhoods look bad. Let me give you an example of what I mean. The owner of 53 Morris Street stopped paying taxes in 1987. He continued to collect rent from the people who lived in the building, 18 apartments, even as this building continued to deteriorate. It got so bad that the building department had to condemn the building. So we began the foreclosure proceedings. Now, a new owner has bought the building, is planning to rehab it, and bring in 18 new tenants. They will have decent and safe homes. The city will get its taxes, and the neighborhood will look a whole lot better. It's a turnaround story, and a story that will happen again and again thanks to our aggressive policy of attacking deadbeat owners. Back in 2012, this administration inherited 1,200 deadbeat properties, and we have since filed more than 350 foreclosure actions and collected approximately $6 million of your overdue money. The days when deadbeat landlords take advantage of a system at everyone else's expense are over. We installed an automated gas dispensing system at the Public Works garage. Combined with our GPS system, we can now keep track of our city vehicles and know exactly how much gas they use. Gas may have gotten cheaper, but that doesn't mean we can afford to waste a single gallon of the taxpayer money that pays for it. You know, everything runs on the internet nowadays, including phone service. City Hall was operating in the dark ages. This September, we will make the switch to web-based phone service. It's going to make operations more efficient, but here's the kicker. It will save you $150,000 a year on your telephone bills. You know, the biggest cost savings, and one that is being viewed as a statewide model, is the consolidation of services between the school district and City Hall. Something good comes from everything. and last year's discovery that the district had overestimated its revenues to the tune of $55 million forced a new look at finances. We discovered that a lot of money was being wasted on duplication of services, such as purchasing department, personnel department, accounting department. We freed up that money so that we could use our limited resources where we need them the most, and that's in the classroom. This could not happen without the full support of our superintendent and the Board of Trustees. Please join me in recognizing Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Mike Uzzolo, Board President Nader Sage, and the entire Board of Trustees. Also, please join me in recognizing our outstanding Assembly and State delegation, who provided the legislation and the funding to ensure our consolidation was a success. They couldn't join us here tonight because they are up in Albany fighting the good fight for the people of our great city, as they always do. So we can give them a round of applause, just in case they're watching us. Nothing is more important than educating our children. Good schools are essential. That's right. Good schools are essential in order for Yonkers to be a place where people want to live, work, and to raise a family. Good schools are essential to our future of our children. And we, as we all know, good schools are a key to maintaining property values. We know that an early start is essential to the student's success. And that's why, working with our federal and state partners, we will provide full-day pre-K for every child beginning in September. You know, our schools are bursting at the seams because Yonkers is growing so rapidly, and that's a good thing. It means people want to move to our city and send their kids to our schools. But it also means that providing classroom space will be a challenge, not just for pre-K, but for all of our classes. The Board of Education is right now negotiating with the New York Archdiocese to take over at least 3 closed parochial schools. And I've indicated to the school district that the city will provide the funds in the budget to add the additional space if needed. You know, as I look at our schools, I'm amazed at the job they do in light of the limited resources that are available. The state constitution requires that the state government provide a sound basic school education for every child, but that doesn't happen. The state aid formula ignores the needs of districts, especially the big 5 cities, where most of our students come from economically disadvantaged families. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the state government issued a list of schools it said were failing, either because of test scores that are not improving or because of low school graduation rates. Several Yonkers schools are on that list. That's unacceptable, even if one school is on that list. And yet that report says the problem is the teachers and says that the state should be able to take over schools that are failing. My answer is very, very simple. The state, which shortchanges poorer school districts year after year when it comes to giving out aid, does not fulfill the obligation it already has. And what we need are enough resources so that we don't have to put more than 30 students in a class, so that we do have enough librarians, guidance counselors, teachers for special ed and for the kids who are still learning English, so that we have sports, music, art, and all the other services that, frankly, wealthier districts all take for granted. And to this day, the state of New York has still not restored the funding they took away from us in 2010 when the state faced its own deficit. And with a large surplus and billions in funds from banking settlements, the state is only now looking at restoring the funds they took away from us years ago. We can't spend as much as the wealthy suburban districts do because we don't have the high property tax base that they do. Yet, the needs of our students are so much greater. They are more likely to have a learning disability, more likely to have difficulty with the English language, less likely to have had early childhood support that is essential. So the students who need more get less. It makes no sense. The state formula has to be corrected. and you wonder why there are failing schools. Yet our outstanding administrators, our teachers, our parents, and the students themselves don't let this stop them. Despite the lack of proper funding, we have some of the best schools in the state right here in our city. That's because our students are just as bright, just as determined as any student in the suburbs. Our schools have improved every year during this administration, and my pledge to you tonight will be that we continue to improve them until every school meets the standard. In the last year alone, our graduation rate has increased 76%. The dropout rate is down by 3%. Regents exam scores have all increased in all 5 categories, from 1% increase in math to 6% increase in English. And truancy is down. That's achievement. Again, in 2014, the Yonkers Middle High School made the U.S. News and World Report list of top schools, ranking number 20 in all of New York State. Saunders, that's right, very good. Saunders High School and Palisades Prep ranked in the nation's top 10%. And last year we launched what they call the School of the Month program to recognize the outstanding achievements of all of our students, our teachers and administrators and staff, simply saying thank you. They are excelling each and every day. And please join me in welcoming the school principals and students here today with us tonight. Can you all stand up? Can we just give them a round of applause? Thank you. You make us very, very proud. Our vocational training program, Saunders, is probably the best in the state. In fact, during a recent visit, the Deputy Commissioner of Education said it is a model that other districts need to learn from. We will continue to succeed, and during the next year, we will seek to improve our pupil support system, provide more staff for students with disabilities and those needing assistance in learning English, and we want to increase sports and arts programs. In a little more than a week from now, we will launch our Yonkers Thrives. It's a Yonkers Thrives partnership. It's based on the National Strive program that is already improving education in 50 communities nationwide. This will bring educators, business, not-for-profit organizations, community and faith-based organizations, and literally every aspect of our Yonkers community together to improve the educational outcome from cradle to career. Businesses will provide mentors. Parents will learn the most effective child development strategies. Educators will devise new tools to improve outcomes. And funders will encourage collaboration to make it all work. So please join me in welcoming some of the members of the Yonkers Thrives Executive Committee, and thank you for your commitment to the children. We also plan to address the outdated infrastructure of our schools. We have some of the oldest school buildings in New York State, an average of 75 years old. To bring our schools up to modern standards will require a $2 billion investment over the next 10 years. That's a lot of money. But we remember that the state of New York has already completed a $1 billion-plus program rebuilding Buffalo, launched hundreds of millions of dollars towards Rochester and Syracuse. Now it's time for Yonkers to get its funding. We plan to hire a school construction program manager whose job will be to put together a school reconstruction program that we can take to the state capitol and request funding. We know getting the money that we need from the state will probably be a difficult task, but fairness is on our side. And all we are asking is for Albany to give Yonkers the same assistance has already given to the children of Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse. If you did it for them, you can do it for us. We will also be working very closely with the Board of Education to use the $23 million of the Yonkers share of the recently passed State Education Bond Act. It's time to end the digital divide. An estimated 20% of households in Yonkers do not have internet service, even though the internet is becoming a necessity rather than a luxury. That's even truer for students. If you don't have internet at home to do homework, or you are on the wrong side of the digital divide. That is why, working with the school district, we will develop a plan to bring Wi-Fi internet access to every learner by the year 2018. I know you've heard this before. We don't own the earth, we just borrow it from the next generation. And that's so important that we treat our environment well. Last year, we launched the Yonkers Green City, a community-led initiative to build a healthier, more sustainable Yonkers. We also established our Green City Advisory Committee, whose 11 members are helping us prioritize energy conservation, a sustainable environment, and engage the entire community in the effort. Yonkers also joined the Sustainable Westchester, a consortium of over 40 local communities, all collaborating on environmental initiatives. And as you probably noticed, our streetlights in Yonkers are brighter than they have used to be. They are also cheaper to operate because they have the new state-of-the-art LED bulbs. And this project will save us $18 million in energy costs over the next 10 years. It won the Local Achievement Award from the Conference of Mayors and was named an anchor project by the New York State Climate Smart Communities Program. And we're not stopping there. This year, the Parking Authority will install LED lights in all of its garages. We also want to encourage the use of electric cars, and we'll be installing charging stations in the Buena Vista garage and the Government Center garages. And by replacing outdated equipment with new, smart, efficient technology, we're already saving $2 million of the $16 million we spend every year on energy costs. We launched the Styrofoam recycling program and recycled the equivalent of 600,000 coffee cups in just 2 months. We've issued a much better recycling guide. We've expanded our green fleet and installed solar trash compactors. We should take pride that Yonkers is a leader in the area of sustainability and that we are a national model for our energy smart practices. Last year, we installed more solar rooftops in Yonkers than we did the previous 10 years combined. And we have a plan to install solar panels in our school buildings. And this year, thanks to our partners at the New York Power Authority, we will compete for $20 million in grant money to fund even more sustainability programs. And please join me in thanking our great governor, Andrew Cuomo, for including Yonkers in the state's energy competition. The governor has always been there for Yonkers, and we want to thank him. Yonkers has long assisted the environment by hosting the county's largest wastewater treatment facility. It's located in the Ludlow Park section of Yonkers, which handles half of the county's wastewater, up to 90 million gallons of wastewater a day, but at what cost to our residents and the water revitalization efforts? Currently, Westchester County pays an impact fee to the city of Peekskill of $10 million per year. Why? I'm sure you're asking that question. Why? Because they want to compensate for the negative community impacts of the county's trash burning facility on the Peekskill's shores. What about Yonkers? For decades, this city has endured the burdens which come with being the host of the county's sewage treatment plant. The impacts are easily measured. There are year-round odors. There is the constant wear and tear of on our roads from vehicles transporting sludge. In addition, the facility occupies some of our prime property on the waterfront, yet pays no property taxes. It's a raw deal, and it stinks. It is time that the city of Yonkers receives its fair share from the county of Westchester. It's time for Yonkers to receive the same kind of impact fee that the city of Peekskill does. Tonight, we are joined by Council President Lee McLaughlin, Majority Leader John Larkin, and the members of the City Council. Together, This city council has done tremendous work for our seniors, veterans, and all Yonkers residents. Let's give them a round of applause. Because of the city council, Yonkers is one of the first municipalities in New York State to expand the rent benefits for fixed income seniors. And under the senior citizen rent increase exemption, otherwise, right, Chris, known as SCREE, it was passed unanimously by the city council. Yonkers will nearly double the income threshold to $50,000 to qualify for rent benefits. It will help keep seniors in their homes and protect them year to year from the year-to-year rent increases. We must also acknowledge the sacrifices made by our many veterans who served this country, as well as the debt we owe those from Yonkers who still serve today. That's why we enacted a local law to include school taxes in the alternative veterans exemption. So now veterans can qualify for the full benefit. And to honor those veterans who might not have been rightly recognized in the past, we will designate a portion of Yonkers Avenue as Vietnam Veterans Way later this month. Please join me in recognizing the veterans who are here with us tonight. I'm going to ask the veterans, please stand up. We want to say thank you for your service. If you are here tonight, or if you're watching this speech at home on TV, you care about this city. It's where you live or where you make a living. It's where you're raising a family. It's where you've staked out your future and you are determined to make things work. It's not easy, but it is worth it, because this city has some of the greatest people you could find anywhere. We've got nearly 200,000 people who speak 4 dozen languages and represent as many cultures. Some of us go back several generations. Others are new arrivals, not only from other communities, but from other countries. We are senior citizens enjoying a well-deserved retirement. We are wage earners in the prime of our careers. We are families, we are single people. We are the students in our schools. We work in high-tech industries that didn't exist just a few years ago. And we work in the corner store that has served a neighborhood for generations. You've heard about some of them tonight, like Declan Baldwin, who said New York City and Hollywood might be the centers of the movie industry, but I'm taking my business to Yonkers. And now he has an Oscar winner. You know, there are so many others that I haven't even mentioned. People like the Reverend James Hassel of Kingdom Christian Church, Tyra Green and Deandra Navarro, who have been collecting clothes and other household supplies for people who have lost their homes because of a fire. People like Kim Howell, who shows up from time to time with toiletries and coffee for the homeless. The volunteers of the Yonkers Partners in Education, who raise funds and provide tutoring and help for our high school seniors who want to apply for college, but whose families don't have the resources to help them with the process. So many of our students are in college today because someone they didn't even know took the time to help them get there. There's Steve Burns and his colleagues in the Untermeyer Park Conservancy who are restoring and maintaining these historic gardens like nothing else you'll ever see in Westchester County. Karen Beltrain and all the parents who make up our wonderful PTAs. They put in so many hours to support the teachers and the administrators. It's difficult at the end of a long, hard day to go back out and spend hours at the PTA or one of our many neighborhood associations, the church councils, or the other organizations that form the fabric of our community. But people do it because it makes Yonkers better. And of course, we have our own hometown hero who created a global awareness with some ice water and a click of a mouse, Yonkers' own Pat Quinn. You know, Pat is a co-creator of the Ice Bucket Challenge that swept famously social media last summer with a viral fundraising and awareness campaign and led his efforts to raise millions of dollars. Please join me in recognizing Pat, who is here with us tonight. Thank you, Pat. As you know, Pat, you continue to inspire us. I could go on, because the list of ordinary people who do extraordinary things to make this city shine is long indeed. No matter the challenges ahead, this city has a richness of human energy that virtually guarantees our success. We will continue to bring more businesses to Yonkers, providing more jobs for those who already live here, so that those who come to America in search of a better future can find it right here. We will continue to provide more housing for people of all incomes, making our neighborhoods stronger and preserving them for many years to come. We will continue to be smarter in running government and to keep taxes low. And we will continue to keep our city safe and to improve our schools. Above all, we will continue to do our best to earn the trust that the people have placed in each and every one of us, to be able to say that Yonkers is not only a great city, but is getting better with each passing year. I hope you feel it. I sure do, and I hope you're proud of it. The state of Yonkers is strong, our future is bright, and our best days are yet to come. God bless you, and it's good to see everyone.